The majority of organisations can no longer escape the need to buy, sell or work with people from different cultures. Multinationals have offices spanning the globe. Manufacturers increasingly rely on foreign markets and distributors, and services and products are no longer solely marketed at native audiences. And many industries rely on immigrant labour. All this means we have to develop our cross-cultural skills, especially in sales and negotiations, in order to compete effectively. Cross-cultural sales and negotiations is about more than just how foreigners close a deal. It involves looking at all factors that can influence the proceedings. In our country, a typical salesperson will say the secret to success is find out what the other party wants and offer it to them. So we ask questions. But how can you determine the right proposition for a Chinese client or put in a completed tender to them when it is culturally unacceptable to actually ask what the client wants and unacceptable that you should be told? This leads to an iterative backwards and forwards process that takes a long time and where a degree in crystal ball gazing would help. Wherever you are conducting business in the world, there are 3 aspects you need to consider in your cross-cultural negotiations. The first is the basis of the relationship. In much of Europe and North America, business is contractual in nature. Personal relationships are seen as unhealthy as they cloud objectivity and lead to complications. However, in South America, Africa, the Middle East and much of Asia, business is personal. Partnerships will only be made with those they know, trust and feel comfortable with. So you must invest time in building relationships before conducting business. The second element is negotiation styles. The way in which we approach negotiation differs across cultures. For example, in the Middle East, rather than approaching topics sequentially, negotiators often discuss issues simultaneously. South Americans and Latin cultures can become quite vocal and animated, and the Japanese will negotiate in teams and decisions will be based upon consensual agreement. In Asia, decisions are usually made by the most senior figure or head of a family. And in China, negotiators are highly trained in the art of gaining concessions. Whilst in Germany, decisions can take a long time due to the need to analyse information and statistics in great depth. In the UK, pressure tactics and imposing deadlines are the way of closing deals, whilst in Greece this would definitely backfire. Number 3, the information you're given at negotiations. Western business culture places emphasis on clearly presented and rationally argued business proposals using statistics and facts. Even in Europe, there are significant differences. The Germans will arrive at meetings with stacks of documents that support and evidence their proposal. The French likewise. The Brits, on the other hand, though prepared, come to a meeting to gather even more evidence. Other business cultures rely on similar information, but with differences. Many are visual and oral communicators and prefer information given to them through speech or using maps, graphs and charts, or preferably in an informal chat during a coffee break or over a glass of wine at lunch. There are loads of factors that need to be considered when approaching cross-cultural sales and negotiations. You need to understand the different cultural dimensions and have the appropriate knowledge to help you prepare your presentations and sales pitches effectively. Doing or saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, poor communication and cross-cultural misunderstandings can all have harmful consequences. Success comes through a firm foundation of understanding the different etiquettes and approaches to business overseas, and then focusing on cross-cultural differences in sales and negotiation styles and techniques. As I always say, language is what we hear, but culture is how we understand.